We are currently in the hamlet of Brimstone, which is in Caledon, Ontario. When we first saw this house, I actually wanted to run in the other direction. When my clients bought it, it was already basically gutted and abandoned for quite some time, but the property itself and the house did have great bones. We basically had to start from scratch with this house, and because it had already been somewhat gutted, we took everything back to just the studs and rebuilt from there. This was a really great situation. The clients are actually friends of mine, and we've been very close for 22 years. So because of our relationship, I had a really solid idea of what she wanted the end result to be, which was a lot of fun to work with because I had free reign a little bit, but still always keeping her in mind. With this house, we mainly designed it so you come in the side door off of the driveway. We thought it was very important to give them some type of a mudroom. So we decided to build this small little storage area with drawers, some hooks so that they can hang their hats, their coats, and a great vinyl cushion in pink, which is one of my client's signature colors. And then it just opens up onto a really comfortable and cozy, great room, family room. We wanted everything to tie into itself because you get a full view of everything right when you walk in. And so that was the big thing, was just making sure that everything felt cohesive. One of the great things about this house is it's nestled in this little pocket, and the Forks of the Credit River is actually right across the road. And so what we envisioned was everyone sitting around the fireplace, really cozy throughout the winter months, and then really also enjoying the summertime when everything is in full bloom. And we just wanted you to feel like you were wrapped in nature. The kitchen started off actually with the hood fan. It was a material that I saw from a closet company actually, and I just knew we had to recreate it on the hood somehow. That hood has this really cool raised grain, and there is somewhat of a driftwood vibe to it. And the other jumping off point was the La Cornue for my client. She was determined that that was the range. I think the only other directive I had from her was she really wanted a waterfall island. So keeping that in mind, we designed the space around. This kitchen doesn't have uppers, so we had to maximize storage. It's not a huge house, and the staircase is where it is, and we were stuck with that having to stay there. It made the footprint a little bit more challenging, so we really wanted to keep it simple with small hits of really interesting texture and materials, so to not overwhelm everything. We wanted to also then calm the texture down on the two tall towers that flank either side of the range, one being the paneled fridge, the other being a pantry. I still wanted there to be texture so it didn't read as flat because we went with a white oak for everywhere else. But I wanted the hood fan to stand out a little bit more while still having something. The dining room was another space that I wanted to keep fairly neutral. It's a funny ask. The client wanted a television in the dining room, which I fought her on a little bit, but at the same time, this is their house and they are the end user, so I need to make them happy. So we went with the TV that can somewhat turn into art. And again, we wanted to add a little bit more storage in the dining room because we don't have uppers in the kitchen. We don't have a lot of ceiling height in this house, so it was about picking a chandelier that had some impact without overtaking the space, and then a beautiful detailed wood table.
Thanks for watching. This house tour is brought to you by Milk.
The hardest part about being a dairy farmer, I'd probably say the time commitment. It's not an 8 to 4 job, especially in the summertime. Like there's times I'm out in the field till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's just, you have to do the work. The part I love the most, you work with your family. I work with Karina day in and day out, and the kids enjoy it too, I think.
Nick and Noah, basically, they've learned from watching Victor what needs to be done and how to do it. That's part of the reason they want to continue on here is hopefully we've instilled a love for farming in their lives. It teaches them how to be good stewards of land and the animals as well.
I feel very good about the product I produce, a high quality milk for communities around us. So I feel very proud about feeding Ontario families.
There's a lot of standards for Ontario dairy farmers, and we strive to maintain that. We're a family that likes to sit around the table and have meals together. It is a lifestyle to choose to stay home and work on your family farm, but we love it.
This house, we added an addition to be able to get a proper principal bedroom and principal ensuite. So that is all brand new in this house. And given how we had to add the addition, we knew we were gonna have a long hallway, which is why we decided to walk through the closet area to get into the bedroom, which gives a nice delineation to keep you far enough away and feel like you've got your own privacy. And because of that, we had the opportunity to go with the vaulted ceilings, which of course led us down to having the beams that we picked the stain out and wanted to really make it feel like it would be true to the house. And another directive I had from her was, I really want a 4-poster bed. And anyone who knows my client knows that navy and white are her colors. And so I figured this would be the room to give her her signature. We ended up with something that I think really reflects highly on her and her husband. And it's just a really nice, comfortable, inviting principal bedroom. The ensuite was fun. That was another area that I just knew I really wanted some interesting details while still keeping it relatively calming. I knew I wanted to be able to give them his and hers vanities and a proper soaker tub, a proper walk-in shower. It took a little bit of rejigging, but we got there in the end, and we have a great hexagon tile on the floor. It's a porcelain, but gives you that marble feeling. And again, same with the walls. We tried to keep everything consistent in that room. That was a fun room to design. We let the client's son really have a hand in choosing of what was gonna happen with his room, and he has a keen design eye. It was actually a lot of fun to work with him. I wanted him to be able to grow into the room. I didn't want it to feel too kid specific. So we gave him a really cool leather bed in that camel leather. And then we just added in some fun textures, fun patterns, just to make it feel a little bit more vibrant in there. When we were going through the renovation process, we realized we had this extra attic space right above his bedroom. And my client said, well, why not use it? And so we added in that great ladder that comes down from the ceiling. So when he's using it, it's there, and then it can just go right up into the ceiling and you don't have to look at it. And it's just this cool hangout zone. One of the things that was so great about this property was the outdoor space. We really wanted to have a couple different zones. So we have the zone right off of the side entrance of the house, which is where the lounging can take place. That's where they can entertain with friends. It's really easy access to the house. Then above that is where you have the hot tub, and we were able to actually put in a guest bunky out there. It's a 3-bedroom house, and so if you have guests staying long-term, it's a great place to give them privacy, to be able to get away, and it just gives you more flexibility with guests. In the powder room, we have this pink wallpaper of horses. I was so against this wallpaper. My client and I met because we were both horseback riders. So when we were starting to pull everything together for this house, I saw this wallpaper online that had a horse theme to it. And for me, I thought it's a little bit too on the nose. And of course, my client caught it out of the corner of her eye and said, what is that? There was quite an argument about it, but she won, and I will be honest, I'm very glad she won. I would say this house was beyond sad. I think it was in a severe depression when we saw it. It was a lot of fun to take it on. It was challenging, but it sometimes still blows my mind when I walk through the door and see what we were able to accomplish here. I was totally apprehensive about working with friends. In fact, I was terrified about it. They always say never work with friends or family. We live to tell the tale, which is great. Our friendship is still going strong, and that's probably what makes me the most happy.